Hey, everyone. Hey. It is your girl, Precious Williams, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster live show here on LinkedIn. Yes, today's episode is on the power of the ass. So let's get it popping. So, you ever found yourself feeling like this? I always see her. She's getting another award. What does she do? I can walk circles around her. She ain't nobody. Oh man, look at them. They all at that event. I wasn't even invited. Again, I have to hear about this chick, this man. Why am I always seeing the same people speaking? Why am I always seeing the same people doing the same thing? Aren't there any other opportunities for other people? They can't find other speakers, coaches, consultants. They can't find other people who sell great products and services. It's always the same people. Matter of fact, I got to be a celebrity to make it up in these streets. I started my business and all I'm hearing is crickets. Or the pandemic, the economic downturn, social unrest, everything is happening. And I'm being affected. And don't nobody seem to care. I'm putting out things on social media. I'm talking a good game. I'm meeting with people. I'm networking. I'm doing all these things. And yet, nothing's changing. Nothing's happening. I have a great resume, a great CV. I know all these great people, and yet, I still don't feel like I'm seen. I got all these questions that I'm afraid to ask people. What am I doing wrong? I know I'm not the only person who's ever thought that. Who's ever just flipped on social media and now you're scrolling, getting madder and madder, having an anxiety panic attack because you're like, what are they doing that I'm not? They're not any more special than I am. Why aren't people looking at me? Why am I not being invited? Y'all, I'm being honest. I'm keeping it a buck today. It's a Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show where we tackle issues like pitching, marketing, and branding and sales head on. Am I the only one who's ever thought that? I know I can't be. As I've been traveling and receiving awards, like I was just in Boston receiving the Badass Woman at Herstory Award. Shout out to Catlin Turner and her amazing team. To speaking at Bay Path University, to getting ready to, speak at a major insurance company, a major private equity firm, a legal organization, and things like that. People come up to me and tell me the truth about how they're feeling. And it's not from watching my post, but even if it is from watching my post, they're like, what am I doing wrong? Before I even answer that question, I want to tell y'all something. I am so glad that I co host a podcast called The Power of the Ask with Lisa Zeiderman. We are both Savvy Ladies board members. She is the vice president of the board, and I am a board member. And Savvy Ladies is really all about empowering women to be financially blessed in life. Whether they're in transition, they may have lost a job, they're new to understanding budgeting in this new normal of world. To ask, how do you ask for a raise? How do you put yourself out there in a way that opportunities can come to you? Who do you need to be networking with? Have you ever wondered if you could talk to some of these wonderful women who have seemingly broke the glass ceiling? What were their stories about how they got there? We get to do all of that on the Power of the Ask podcast. As co-host, Lisa Zeiderman, she is the managing partner of Miller Zeiderman, a high-profile matrimonial firm. They deal with, top-level divorces. You already know. What I love about Lisa is that she is this wonderful woman who takes knowing your finances very seriously as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a litigator. and really making sure that women understand not only how to write their own paycheck or how to go further in their careers. And then you have me. I'm the founder and CEO of the Perfect Pitch Group. Before I started the Perfect Pitch Group, I was an attorney in the great state of New York, and I've worked in a variety of different places, from clerking for a federal judge to big law to having my own law firm. And as I was as an attorney turned serial entrepreneur turned best-selling author, international professional speaker, there were so many things I never asked about. I never asked how to negotiate. I was afraid that I would look bad. I'm a first generation in everything. So I didn't ask questions. I just kind of felt my way through it. And let me just put this on the screen so you all can see it. I would love for you all to check out our podcast. If you go to www.savvyladies.org/podcast power of the ask. Check out the 2 episodes that we have. We have a queen who has had an illustrious career at Moody's. We have another queen who is Miss New Jersey, USA. Like, imagine their stories, how they got to where they got to. So in the Power of the Ask, what I really love about our podcast is that we really get to ask the questions that I wish I could have asked one in my 20s. So growing up, did I know how to negotiate for my salary? Nope, never asked, never pushed back. Whatever they said, I went with it. And now that I'm 45 years old, like twice the age I was when I first came to New York, it's really making me think about a lot of things in business and a lot of things in my life and my career. And if you're coming in, please come in, drop your name, what brought you here for this, and why is the Power of the Ask important? Because I really want you all to check out the Power of the Ask podcast, powered by Savvy Ladies, co-hosted by me, Precious Williams, and my co-host, Lisa Zeiderman, Vice President of the Board of Savvy Ladies. So when I think about the Power of the Ask, the reason why I never asked back in the day, up until maybe in my 40s, did I feel comfortable to ask. So number one, I was afraid. I was afraid to have negotiation conversations. I was afraid. Like, what would be my comeback? And yes, I could have probably watched every Google University school of how to negotiate, but I was afraid to ask women. When I restarted my company, Perfect Pitches by Precious, I kind of just went out there and did things. I accepted underpaid speaking engagements. I accepted whatever came to me because I was too afraid to say no, for fear that opportunities would never come my way again. And I also just wanted to tell the truth to y'all. Like, where I am today took a lot of love. It took a lot of support. And being a board member of Savvy Ladies, they were there when I made the decision that I was going to move from a place I lived for 5 years to where I am today. They were there when I made the decision to, write my 5th book, Rainmaking 101, from day one. They were there when I had questions about becoming financially successful. You can run a business and not know your numbers. You could be in rooms where you're too afraid to even sit at the table. You can go through a lot of things in this life, and because we're too afraid to ask the question, we wanted to provide a podcast that allows you to do just that. I was just on Facebook and I had a conversation about decluttering a lot of things in my life. I've been known as the Killer Pitch Master since 2013. It is now 2024. In that time, while I've loved being the Killer Pitch Master and being someone that people could come to for all things in pitching, whether it's your sales pitch, your media pitch, your investor pitch, your sales pitch, your speaker pitch, and your interview pitch, I realized there was more to me than I was letting the world see. And so when I made the decision to move, there were other things that were in me. One of the biggest things was changing how people saw me. You see, I got too comfortable being the Killer Pitch Master or even the Pitch Queen. But there were other things that I wanted to share and showcase. So in our podcast, when we're meeting with these dope women, Derby and Clara Sierra. It allowed me to see how the trajectory of their lives changed when they started asking different questions. First of all, they had the courage to ask themselves hard questions that we rarely ask ourselves. And they started looking at the world differently. So I moved into my new dream space in November of 2023. I basically came in here with no real furniture. And I wanted to start all over. I wanted to declutter my life from where it used to be. I wanted to start fresh. And in November and December, I was going through a lot emotionally as I was preparing to rebrand from Perfect Pitches by Precious to the Perfect Pitch Group. And there was so much coming out of me. I wanted to challenge women how they saw themselves. Did they think that the best was behind them, or can it be before you? Can it be in your present? I wanted to challenge men who, just like all of us, are getting older, and they wanted to kind of break free of roles that they've been playing for years. I've been speaking professionally for 29 years, and I'm 45, right? So I've been doing this since I was 16. And once I wrote my fifth book, Rainmaking 101, from day one, and entering the legal profession again to train attorneys and sales professionals and those who are service-based, I thought back to all of those people who wanted to work with me before. And I created the Rainmaking Speaking and Branding Accelerator. Who I used to be years ago is nothing compared to the woman before you today. Having the first thought of the Perfect Pitch Academy, Rainmaking Speaking and Branding Accelerator, and coming back with live events and no longer being scared to unleash all of me on people has been a journey. And it all started with the power of the ask. I started asking myself the questions that Queen April Franks asked at her event in Houston earlier this year in January, right before I turned 45. And one of those questions was, who am I? Who do I think people see me as? How do I want people to see me today? But more importantly, how do I see myself today? Am I living in the past? Or am I in the present, or am I future focused? Have my clients' needs changed? Has our clientele changed? Is what I'm offering what they really want anymore, or even need? And you know what the resounding answer was? No. I had to go back to that GPS, recalculating. And so with the Perfect Pitch Group and with the Savvy Ladies Power of the Ass podcast, there were so many things that were coming out. When we're asking Miss New Jersey, USA Derby, and we're asking a queen at Moody's, Clara Sierra, the questions about how they get to where they got to, what were those pivotal moments, what were some of the financial lessons that they learned, how are they bringing forth these lessons to the community? And you're going to see this for the rest of this year in our podcast, The Power of the Ass, powered by Savvy Ladies and hosted by two Savvy Ladies board members, me and Lisa Zeiderman, who is a vice president of the board. If it's bouncing a lot, y'all are in my bedroom. And I don't know if y'all noticed, this is my headboard and it's blue velvet. I've never had a headboard in my life, y'all. And I remember, you probably like, where's this going? I just want to share this with you all. I wanted to feel true blue. I wanted to feel true blue. When I was in high school, our colors were the gold of youth and the blue of truth. And I wanted that to be reflected in my space. I'm wearing blue today. Ask yourself the hard questions. I had to let go of my old life. 90 to 95% we left or it's in the trash when I moved. To be able to come here and have this conversation with you all. When I was at Bay Path University, I started to see how I wanted to decorate my new dream space. And there was a joy. There was a joy in letting it come through me, through my vision. Not everybody telling me what I needed to do. Just like creating Rainmaker Speaking and Branding Accelerator. It wasn't based on that program or that coach or what this person said. It was through my own vision. But I had to be decluttered of everybody else to let my vision come forth. And what did my clients need? What did prospects need to turn their prospects into repeat clients? And what I had before, does that serve today? And it didn't. So decluttering myself of what everybody else was doing. No longer operating in a copy and paste world. Yes, you can utilize the power of AI, but I hope there's some substance behind what it is that you're doing. So what does that have to do with you all today? I encourage you to check out the Savvy Ladies Power of the Ass podcast. That link should be scrolling by below. Check out our first 2 episodes. So if you go to www.savvyladies.org /podcast power of the ask. Check out our podcast. Subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. Because those questions that you're having about financially, especially women who are in transition, women who are looking at their finances in a totally different way, who want to grow and scale in all aspects of their life and financially want to know how that can be done. Investing. There's so many things that we tackle on the Power to Ask podcast. And there's so many things that we tackle as Savvy Ladies. We have an event coming up on April 2nd that's all about AI. It's an AI Awards. Love to have you there. So please go to www.savvyladies.org and check out our events. So April 2nd, be in the building and get your tickets. But the point of Savvy Ladies, the point of me being a board member, the point of us having the Power At podcast is to really ask these questions. We want you to be financially savvy. We want you to be financially successful in all realms. If you have lost your job, come to us. If you're struggling with understanding finances or investing or wanting to do new things financially, come check us out at savvyladies.org. And if you want to learn more about my company, the Perfect Pitch Group, I've got 2 free gifts for you. So if you go to www.perfectpitchgroup.com /free-gifts, I have 2 free gifts for you. Those gifts that you get the first chapter of my book, Rainmaking 101, from day one, packaging, positioning, and pitching. And that really starts the roadmap to learning how to make it rain like snow. I encourage you to take that. And the second thing that we have for you as a free gift is there's a PDF that shows you how to make it rain truly like snow. So what are some of the steps in the process of your pitching, of business development, of sales and client acquisition? So take me up on my offer. Again, go to perfectpitchgroup.com /free-gifts. The point of today that I really wanted to share with you all, that I really had to learn how to utilize the power of the ask. Asking questions of myself, asking questions of others, getting a wise counsel around myself, whether that was my business coach, bookkeeping, accounting, all those sort of things, and making sense of the things that we were doing. I'm not the only person who's been touched by contracts not being signed, or dealing or having been laid off, or dealing with when you go to the grocery store and you be like, oh, I thought rent was too darn high. Man, these avocados are looking kind of cray. I want you to hit the ground running. And if you do want to learn more information about my Rainmaker Speaking and Branding Accelerator, which focuses on packaging, positioning, and pitching, because so many people have only seen me as a killer pitch master, slaying all competition with a killer pitch, I think it's also important for you all to meet the ultimate rainmaker, which is me too. In addition, I know there's so many people who are seeking out paid speaking engagements. And in addition to me, there's also my queen, Kelly Charles Collins of Speaker Moguls. She's having, on March 26th, she's having an event I really want y'all to check out. And I'll put it in the comments. But I really want you to check out Iconic Talks. And so if y'all are in SHRM, SHRM, or you're in HR, I suggest y'all really get tickets to this event. Kelly Charles Collins. It's called Iconic Talks, and I'll make sure I'll put it in the chat. But the great thing about me having 29 years of professional speaking excellence, the great thing about me understanding that branding is much more than what you post on social media. It's much more than what you say about yourself. What are other people saying about you? That comes down to packaging. How are you showing up? Whether you're at networking events, whether you're on Zoom, what are people like? How are people really seeing you? And then when it comes to positioning, are you the low cost leader? Are you elite? Or are you in between? And if you don't know the answer to that, that affects how you're seen in the marketplace, right? Because how you show up, you want people to see you a certain way. So that is clothes. It might be how you speak. All those sort of things are important. The second thing is positioning. How do people see you amongst other speakers, coaches, consultants, and service-based entrepreneurs? What about product-based? And there's so many different levels to learn in this game. That's why the accelerator that we've created is amazing. It's not based on just pitching. Y'all, that's great. And you know I'm the killer pitch master to the day I die. Been the pitch queen. But when it comes to sales, client acquisition, business development, which is something we all should be doing. We're all salespeople. Come check out our Rainmaker Speaking and Branding Accelerator. If you want to learn more, there's the link below. Go to perfectpitchgroup.com/contact. And I want you to message me saying you want more information about the Rainmaker Speaking and Branding Accelerator. And I truly think it's important that every time I come on here, no, it's not to sell you things. It's really to tell the truth about a lot of things that we're doing. And so being a board member of Savvy Ladies, being the proud founder and CEO of the Perfect Pitch Group, having a network that says my name proudly just as well as I say theirs. I think it's important for all of us to start asking. So we can dream big, but I want you to ask bigger of everything around you. And that's why the Power of the Ask podcast asks the questions you want to ask these esteemed people, these esteemed women and men. What are the questions you want to ask some of the biggest people who are big in finances, who are big in business, who are big in these ways? Because we want to ask those questions on your behalf. We want to open up your world to the people you didn't think you could be around. Check out the Savvy Ladies events. We have so many great ones coming up, and we'd love to have you at those events. But first, it starts with the power of the ask. So please check out our podcast. The link is scrolling at the bottom. Again, Savvy Ladies, SAVVY, ladies, LADIES.org/podcast, power of the ask. Again, I didn't want to take up too much of your time today, but I do think it's important as we're in my bedroom in New York City. And I wanted you to see that I had to declutter a lot to be to where I am, to hear my own to hear my own voice. Excuse me, y'all. To no longer be afraid to ask for help. To no longer be afraid to package, position, and pitch myself. To no longer be afraid to have conversations with people at a higher economic or tax bracket than me. And to truly understand that, as the great Kelly Charles Collins says, I belong in every room that I'm in, but I don't belong everywhere. So come check out what we're doing at Savvy Ladies. We'd love to have you. I love you all from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul. My name is Precious Williams. I'm the proud founder and CEO of the Perfect Pitch Group. And you are watching another exciting edition of the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster Show. And today's episode was on the power of the ask. If you find yourself coming later, please put your name in the chat and what you learned. And if there's some other people that you know should be watching this, tell them put #replay. And we'd love to have you. Again, check out the Power to Ask podcast with Savvy Ladies, where I am your host, along with Lisa Zeiderman, VP of the Board of Savvy Ladies, and the managing partner of Miller Zeiderman. Love to have you again. Ask, dream big, and ask bigger. And come join us on the Power of the Ask podcast. Powered by what? Savvy Ladies. Bye.